Hello and welcome to Tennessee Valley this morning on WTMB. Joe and Kim Palo with you today. It is Wednesday. It is once again, of course, the middle of the week, and it is the first day of spring. Spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung, but you still can't wear white shoes.
No, you
can't do it.
And you know it's a little chilly outside.
I know. It's
chilly
not
today, hot tamale.
Hot tamale, I know. 34 years and it never gets old.
It doesn't ever get
Never.
old.
Not one time.
But a little chilly, although we don't have the rain that we had like Monday.
Monday it was bad. I melted.
Gracious.
I did several times.
It was wild.
But a beautiful weekend. We had a beautiful weekend.
We did. We had a wonderful weekend. Although our weekend ended up, well, as of what, I guess it was Sunday night.
Right.
It ended up bad.
Yes.
Because we found out Sunday night that our premier left tackle, Jake Long.
And so I figure. I mean,
premier left tackle, Jake Long, has signed with the the St. Louis Rams. St. Louis Rams. So that's his loss.
I think people are a little bit more upset about Tennessee not making.
Well, that too. I mean, we're going to
dance.
that.
They didn't get to go to the dance this year.
They were out. Now Middle Tennessee is in, which is going to make Alan Mincy happy.
Right.
MTSU is in. But
and we want Alan to be happy.
Oh yeah. But Tennessee did not make it, so that's a sad thought. But a lot of teams that should have made it didn't make it. And
well, well, you know, it's every year. I forget because there's a year in between.
Right.
But a lot of whining this time of year from.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, all right. I mean,
and you hear a lot of it, don't you?
I do. ESPN is. I mean,
it's a staple at our house.
It is, and I want to watch TV in the big boy room with the big TV, but
can't do it
unless it's ESPN. Right, I can watch the ball games.
I can watch the ball games, and then every once in a while I'll flip over at night to watch the what happened in the Jodi Arias trial.
Right,
because that's got my number.
Yes, it does.
Again, you know, an accident. Stabbed him 29 times, slit his throat, shot him, but it was an accident.
With self-defense.
But yeah,
I was afraid after he was shot and stabbed and slashed, he was going to get up. She just watched too many Halloween movies is what it was.
Well, you know, and she was upset. I mean,
a little angry.
Anger issues. Right. And work on that. But yeah, so it was a nice weekend, but we're going to work our way into nice weather again because even though it's chilly, it's going to be nice and sunny, and we're not going to worry about the rain today.
No, not today.
Not today.
You know, and Paul says it's pretty much over the cold weather. I mean, we might get and that makes for a pretty spring. It does, and you know, and for a better summer if you have those little cold snaps here and there. And so, but it's not going to be we're not going back, Joe. We're only going forward from here to warmer weather.
Have you?
And sunnier weather.
You've seen all the trees in bloom. Trees are blooming.
Yeah, well, I don't have to see them. My sinuses have spoken very loudly about it. And everybody, a lot of my friends, you know, we all just say, hey, we know we're not sick. I don't have much of that, though. No, you really don't. You've been blessed. Absolutely. But you are blessed. Well, you're just a blessing, too.
You're exactly right. My mission here is to bless.
And you do, Joe. You bless. You're a blessing, and you are
in disguise
blessed.
sometimes.
I mean, yes. A lot of times in disguise. Well, always.
But you don't think it's the healthiness that's keeping me to not get sick?
No, because Joe, you didn't have the issues when all of this healthiness wasn't.
That's true.
Right,
but I like to think that I did.
I
like to think that when I was fat, I wasn't as healthy as I am now, and I may not have been sick.
You were as obnoxious, but for different reasons.
Yeah. But now it's nice to be a skinny, obnoxious person. All right. So we have got a great show for everyone watching this morning, a terrific show. Of course, we have our resident historian, Ron Moore, who comes in the house every Wednesday and, you know, tells us a tremendous lie that we all believe.
We all believe.
And we think it's history.
That's right.
But
and we even quote him.
We do quote him.
We tell those same stories over again, but no, they are pretty much accurate.
They are.
Debbie gives
I was going to say, because of Debbie.
Right.
You know, I mean, she gives them all the accurate information. And
that's the way it always is. I talked about that with, well, no, with Mrs. Santa Claus. You think Santa Claus getting that stuff done? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing is, though, it's like we said, about Ozzie Guillen, which said about his wife. And the deal is, it's not so much the great man having a great woman behind him, but as he said, next to him. He gave her some kudos. Not behind, but next to. So you are next to, but a little bit behind. I mean, like I could go like this with my arm and not hit you. So You're a little bit back, but you're
Enough
still
to
next
make
to.
it kick you. I'm good with that. I don't want to be right beside you.
Right.
By any means. And I know I don't want to be in front of you because you always,
No.
in the grocery store, you step on the back of me.
I do, because I'm close.
I know. It's just always
Like
there.
this.
Always there.
But anyway, so we got Ron Moore.
We got Ron Moore.
And then we've got Jay Miles and Josh Morrison.
We do.
Who are now part of the WTMB family, part of the fold. They have come in. We're going to do some, well, we'll talk to them about it like we don't know. But for the folks watching,
we'll find out what's going on.
Find out what's going on and how WTMB is going to be bigger and better. We're going to expand and grow.
Well, and for those of you that may recognize the name or that you don't, but you did see the pregame during football season, these are the guys that put that together, and we're working around, and it was a great quality show. Lots of compliments on it, and so they're going to be they're going to help us with some quality issues.
Yeah. And but sometimes quality. Hopefully we'll get both quantity and quality.
There we go.
We operated on quantity.
We're excited that they're with us.
Very,
and they're
very
going to talk about some of the new shows and new programming that they're working on.
Absolutely. So Jay and Josh, Ron Moore, and of course Kim and myself. And that's it today.
That's it.
That's all you're going to get today. So you can only handle so much.
That's right.
But anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we'll have Jay and Josh in the house. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workmen's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here. Doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning on WTMB. Again, we hope you're having yourself a great Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. Joe and Kim Palo, now joined by Jay Miles and Josh Morrison. How you guys doing?
What's going on, Joe?
Seems like it's been forever since we've seen each other.
I know, it's been like at least 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours.
Well, first of all, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And of course, we want to welcome you into the family, and I think it's going to be a great ride. We're going to all have.
First, I want to say, Josh, you need to just hush. He's always
Yeah,
talking.
talks all the time.
Talks over everybody, but he's so quiet. He's the brains of the operation, I believe, because between all of us, we're all talking, and Josh just sits back.
He just listens. Just does a lot of listening.
We have
That's
a
a good
listener
thing.
in the group, finally.
That's a good thing.
He's taking mental notes.
That's right.
Mental notes.
That's exactly right. Well, you know, we've talked about the pregame.
Yes.
And that was a great show, as we've all heard.
Right.
And it's been talked about in the community. And we know we're going to have season 2 coming up this next season. But we've got a lot of other things on the horizon. And I think one in particular we want to talk about first is the new show called, well, we'll tell them the name, then we'll explain why it's called that. Untilted.
Untilted.
Yeah, Life Untilted.
Life Untilted.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Life Untilted.
Life Untilted is it's a continuation of the pregame.
Okay.
It's kind of life after football for about 10 select Bradley County students, all from Walker Valley, Bradley Central, and Cleveland High School. We're kind of following their stories and picking up just more than just football players. There's a very great band by the name of the Talking Blues Band.
Okay.
For a kid, Noah Tao, over at Cleveland High School, and Brooke Copeland from Bradley. So we're incorporating some more girls into the show. Pregame is mostly about football players, so it's just mostly the guys and the coaches. So this is kind of a different spin on like what happens to these kids after football season's over and between then and up until graduation.
Right. Now, and folks watching are saying, okay, Life Untilted, what does that mean? So explain to them how we came up with the name Life Untilted, which I think is very unique and quite amusing.
Yeah, it's very amusing. The story is funny. Javier Sepulveda, who was one of our producers on the pregame, he came up with the idea for, why don't we follow some of these kids after football's over? And I said, okay, well, write me up a proposal, give me something so I can actually show this to somebody, and he did. And when he gave it to me, the cover letter said Untilted on the front. And I said, what is Untilted? He's like, no, that's Untitled. I'm like, no, you spelled Untilted. So we kind of we started thinking about it, and the actual concept of the show and the actual storyline for these kids is, and especially if you watch a lot of teen kind of high school reality shows, the kids are wild, they're crazy, they're doing all kinds of crazy unnecessary things that most kids really don't do, but they hype it up for TV. And these are really down home, like good kids.
Homegrown. We grew these kids.
Very much so, and that's really what their life is about. So. If they live a pretty straight life, so we kind of stuck with the whole untilted kind of thing because their life really is kind of untilted.
Yeah, it really is.
Life, so.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful.
Because it was just after you guys talking about it so much because it was untitled, and so there wasn't a name, and then from the misspelling it got untilted into where we were even calling it Untilted, and finally became just Untilted. So.
And it really makes sense, though.
Right,
it really does.
So anything though can if you spin it right.
Yeah.
Spin it right.
We've spun it enough times where it's stuck, so you can't get away from it now.
But it's going to be a wonderful show, and as Jay's saying, of course, it's going to follow some of these kids. And it really, a lot of the show is kind of based like some of those, the reality shows I guess you'd see on MTV and VH1.
But nobody's getting drunk and...
Yeah, exactly, right.
Correct.
And but it's a very well done show, and it's going to be exciting, and I think a lot of folks are going to enjoy watching that. But that's not the only thing that we're talking about that's going to be.
Correct.
We got a lot of new stuff on the horizon, so Josh, you want to throw something in there? I mean, if we can get you to be quiet for a minute so Jay can talk.
I don't know. I got a lot to say.
Yeah, you do.
I got to look for the right place to say it.
Because it's profound.
Yeah.
Josh
Very profound. That's right. When it's like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, you listen.
We all listen.
But we've got some other stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, you want to talk about some more shows?
Sure, we can talk about some more shows.
Well, we are excited to be a part of the TV station.
Right.
TV stations need some good shows. We've got some already. We'd like to see if we can put a few more out there and
Absolutely.
throw some things against the ceiling and see what sticks.
Right. Let me write that one down. All right.
Throw it.
And so, we've got, we mentioned Untilted, and we've got, we're going to be looking at the Mill Show, First and Edwards.
Right, that's what I was getting ready to say. Let's preface that with that we're looking at moving the studios, the station, everything. We've kind of been, I mean, not that we won't be at Cleveland State any longer.
Correct.
We've partnered with Cleveland State for a long time, and they're our family. But we need some big space for all of us now, and there's several more to be in. And so we're looking at the property. Go ahead and talk about the mill down there, and maybe what the plans are down there.
Yeah, just looking long term, we see the need of expansion, and Cleveland State has been fantastic. We've got a great studio here. We look to continue to use this studio as much as we can because it's been nothing but benefit being here.
Right.
Absolutely.
But we want to enroll some new shows, and some of our shows will require multiple sets. We've got a lot of ideas that are constantly rolling around in our head as far as what we're going to approach next. But one of the thoughts we had would be an actual another morning type show, not to replace Tennessee Valley This Morning, but a show that's more the quick little news tips that you would need in the morning, like the weather, what happened in the sports last night, little local stories and national stories, just real quick snippets that you'd want to hear on your way out to work.
Right.
So.
And one of the things we want to try to bring into the fold of that is actually we've partnered with some of the high schools, as well as we're working with one of the, we won't say which one, but a few of the colleges in the area to bring on some of their broadcasting students who want to do some field reporting for us. So actually being able to get out there in the community and interview some people on the scenes. If something happens, and we get some breaking news, we can actually send some cameras out there with some, some students that can get this, get the story, and we can broadcast that the next day or same time. So trying to bring a little bit more day and date to, to the WTMB fold. And I think the new location is going to be great because I think it kind of, it does give a different type of a setting for what we're doing, a little bit more of a natural feel than more of your traditional sound stages and sets. Just it'll be something most viewers in this area haven't seen yet, and I think that'll be kind of appealing for them. So.
We haven't mentioned that that's going to be at First and Edwards. We're
Right.
calling the show First and Edwards,
Correct.
but it's there where Habitat of Humanity was for the longest time. It was the Restore before they went over to where the old theater place, but I remember it. Now, I'm sure it's been a lot of things. Do you remember it's anything?
I remember it being just that big empty warehouse building that's going to be.
It was Habitat for a long time, and then there were
Yeah.
some
Was a
different
haunted
people
house
in it.
there.
The
Haunted house.
was
I
there.
do remember
Yes,
that. That's
a
right.
lot.
That's right.
But it's right there on First Street in the corner of First and Edwards, right on Inman, right before you go under the bridge.
Right.
So we're going to be half there, half here, half everywhere.
Yeah, well, we
We've
needed
got a
some
lot of
space,
halves.
and something that place has is space, plenty of
Yeah.
space. So
It
we want to
does.
get that turned into some working space for the studio, the ability to record there, eventually broadcast from there. That's
Right.
one of our plans to
Yes.
do as soon as we can, and have the ability to do live broadcasts from that location as well as from here at Cleveland State, and then eventually live broadcasts from some of the area activities here in town.
Right, and the great thing is we won't let everything out of the bag, but that building, we got some big plans for down the road, way down the road, where it could be a big asset to the community as well, and kind of build up more of that area that they're trying to do in our community.
Sure.
Anyway, also I know we've talked about that, but there's some other little programs we've got starting kind of immediately. We can kind of throw out there, let people know. We've got, of course, well, I'll let you guys say it. We've got go ahead.
Well, one of the things I'm actually really excited about getting into is partnering with you and Kim, also getting into some of the infomercials that we've been doing, and some new people that we'll be doing some new production with. The show, we're going to kind of change a little bit as far as like the call it In Focus, and we're going to focus on a lot of local businesses here in the area, and still work with some people that we've been working with, like Relics Antiques and K-Free. A lot of those really good people have consistently been doing stuff with us, but we're going to bring a different kind of style to it, add some more cameras, and with more people you can do a lot of great things. And I think with the crew that we're bringing in to kind of help out with some of these, I think that not only is it going to benefit the station, but it's really going to benefit the businesses that we're working with, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. So.
Sure.
Also with a couple of shows that are very popular within the local community. A lot of our sports fans will really be excited about this, is working with Fast Eddie. to do a NASCAR show, which will be broadcasting live from Cleveland State, which I'm really excited about because we'll be able to be a live call-in show. And not to mention the biggest thing, not even just for the infomercials and for the live shows, is that we're going to be integrating WTMB into an online platform, so people who do not get WTMB currently will be able to go online and be able to watch whatever we're broadcasting live streaming on the internet. So nobody in Bradley County will be unable to, without being able to see WTMB.
They'll sleep better tonight.
Yeah.
There is a whole community that's going to sleep better tonight.
And really, because we're here to service the community, and that is our number one goal and aim. And you've got to be able to service the community by being available to the entire community. Right. So this way, we will be available. Now, there's a lot of folks you're watching right now, watching us over the air on Channel 27. We have a lot of folks in the Polk County area that see us that way. But this way, you'll be able to see it just as it is on cable, on over the air 27, but it'll be just streamed online on your computer, and you can take it and watch it anywhere you are.
Joe told us a few months back that internet thing
was going to take. I believe it's going to take off.
Yep. You got to watch those internets.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Get away from you. Here first from
I did. It was a few months back, a few months ago.
He got right behind that, and I was just.
My eggs are going to be in that basket. I think that internet thing will catch on. And you mark my words. Yep, telling you, Kim.
I know, honey.
So the internet thing is going to really increase the viewership.
Yeah, and not only that, for the people that are currently advertising with us, our future sponsors and advertisers, not only will their commercials be seen on the TV station, but we're also going to be able to piggyback that onto an online platform that the businesses can use on their own individual websites. We'll also be able to stream that on our website. So anyone who's currently advertising or wants to advertise or sponsor any of the programs will be able to do that, not just on TV, but online as well. So get a big benefit addition to what they're doing currently with us.
And you know, Joe, that means my mother can watch all the way.
My mom too, actually. Yeah,
that's true.
My mother
I'll have to stop all those little digs I throw out there. I'll figure something out.
We just accidentally got Joe in a lot.
Yeah, I know. I'm just sitting here thinking that's true. That's very true. I'll have to figure something out. I'll have little code words we'll throw out there. You'll know what I mean.
Those people.
Right, those.
Mama will be watching, so there's going to be a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
Well, and what's exciting about that is that we are going to have people that may not have an opportunity, that may know the people there. Some of the interns we're talking about, they're all from different areas of the country. Some that we have are not even from the States.
That's true.
And they'll be able to, their work will be able to be seen wherever they're from, as people can log on and watch and see what they're producing or part of or whatever. So that's going to be exciting.
Do we have previews of any of the shows?
Well, not today.
Oh.
We're going to have Josh and Jay back on when we're going to have the previews where we can show.
We're going to have a preview day.
Preview day.
Preview day. Well,
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So, but
Find something special for that.
but hopefully
All right, we're going to have snacks and everything.
But hopefully the first show that we'll be putting on here in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, will be Fast Eddie's Finish Line show.
Our target date is what, April 4th?
April 4th. It's going to be
April 4th.
Thursday
Thursday
from 7 p.m. to 8:30. We're going to start off with an hour and a half. I know currently what he's been doing is a 2.5-hour broadcast, but I think we're going to start with an hour and a half and see how it goes and kind of start rolling with it. And no pun intended, but he'll be rolling across the finish line April 4th. We'll get this thing going.
April 4th, and so that way he can preview a little bit about what the races are to come that weekend. And
you know what he'll preview on that first show, because he did tell us. April the 5th is his birthday. It's his birthday. And it's his birthday, April the 5th. So it's the day before.
He's getting a big birthday
and he'll be
push.
able to say, so those of you that watch the show the very first night, don't forget to call in and wish Eddie a happy birthday, because the very next day is his birthday. See, I remember everything, Kim. I remember everything.
You do.
But so yeah, and we're not going to stop there. Of course, we're still going to do the stuff we've been doing, the block party live, the Christmas parade.
The block party I'm really looking forward to this year, and the Christmas parade. Being able to have more crew, more cameras to really get coverage on the events that are going on. I think that's really going to be a huge benefit to the community that really each year really depend on watching that on WTMB, and because they, for whatever reason, they can't make it or can't get out. being able to get more of the story about what's going on, I think is really going to be cool.
Yeah.
And
Looking
Football
forward to it.
Friday, it might get a little
Yeah, and
facelift.
Football Friday, we've been working really closely, of course, with the pregame with all the high schools, and all 3 high schools are on board to work with their broadcasting to get us some on-field reporting, some interviews with the coaches. So when people are calling in on Football Friday, I'm looking forward to Football Friday this year.
We might even get highlights before midnight.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping.
Well, speaking of sports, we also we're developing a relationship with each of the high schools, like Jade mentioned. We really want to get some of the local big games, whether it be football, basketball, wrestling, on the air, so that people can tune in and watch those events happen as they happen.
Yeah.
So eventually, as we move forward and progress, it'll be kind of probably a tape delay, but eventually, once the station continues to grow, we're going to hopefully be able to go live. So that'll be really cool. A lot of really fun stuff there. So.
Yeah, and there's so many things that we've been putting our heads together that we'd like to do and want to do and are going to do, and it's all exciting. It's all going to benefit, obviously, the community. The station's going to grow along with the community, and so we're excited all about the changes that we're going to be making. We invite you to drop by our studio when we do get them located there first in Edwards. Come by, not right now.
Not yet.
Come by and see us. We'd love to meet you, have you stop by and check out the free cookies.
I always enjoy cookies.
No, bring cookies.
Oh, bring, I thought you said free
when
cookies.
they come by, bring
Okay, I was
cookies.
like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to be
Don't just
part
stop
of
at cookies, Josh. Cookies, cake, sandwiches, money, anything you want to bring by, you can drop off there.
We'll take it over. I was thinking when he said that, I thought, oh, I'm going to have to bake cookies, but no, you have to bake
Right,
cookies.
you bring them, we'll eat them.
So we're good.
But is there anything else you want to talk about some of the things that we're going to be doing?
Overall, I mean, I'm just really excited to be part of what's going on here. I know that there's a lot of potential in this local area, especially over the next 3 to 5 years as it continues to grow. I know I have a lot of contacts down in Chattanooga, and I talk to them, and I know Chattanooga is a big city, but as far as their growth potential, they are kind of, they're really full.
Yeah.
Bradley County and the surrounding area around here has a lot of growth potential, and I'm looking forward to this station being able to not only just showcase what's going on, but actually kind of like be a part of what's actually going to be moving forward in the future. So, I mean, I'm just happy to be here with you guys and work with you guys on a lot of different projects and keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, we're going to do that for sure, Josh.
Come on.
I'm just echoing what Jay said. Nothing against Chattanooga. It's a great city and everything, but people watch the news around here and the local news, and it's all about the Chattanooga area. And we've got a great platform here. We just want to take advantage of that the best way we can and provide that voice about the Bradley County, Cleveland area. And I think WTMB is primed just right to get that.
Absolutely.
We've got a great community. We've got great schools. We've got great business owners. We've got some very important businesses here in town. And now we have a beautiful airport or jetport. I mean, we're just moving up, so it's a good times to be had by all. So we're excited.
We are excited. We're very excited, and we want to thank you guys for coming by to talk to us. Right. And we're going to have you back.
Yes.
With previews.
Preview day of popcorn.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
And we'll all sit here like
Hot
this.
Tamales.
And
tamales.
Right. Yeah. So if you're not, we'll have Jay and Josh back, and we'll have some previews of these shows we're talking about. But it's an exciting time for WTMB, and we're glad they're a part of it, and we're glad that you're a part of it as well, watching, and that you'll continue to watch us and support us, support local television, because we plan to do a lot of big things. Okay. All right. We're going to take a break, and we've got Ron Moore. I just saw him walk in the room.
Ron Moore just walked in the house.
So and when Ron Moore comes in, everything stops.
That's right.
So we're gonna go ahead and take a commercial break. We'll be back with some history and Ron Moore on the way on the other side of this break. So stay tuned.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workmen's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning on WTMB. Again, we want to thank Jay Miles and Josh Morrison for stopping by and talking to us about some of the things we're going to be doing here with WTMB. We're excited about it. We are now joined by our other very, very good friend, Ron Moore, who is, of course,
really knows stuff.
Yeah, he really does. And what's so unique today, now we didn't all talk about this, we didn't talk when we got dressed this morning, what are you wearing kind of thing. But the show today was with Jay and Jay.
I'm so glad we weren't getting dressed.
Well, when we were getting dressed together there, Ron, I was saying, what are you putting on? And you said, you wearing that? And I said, yeah, but that's another story for another day. But what's unique is that Ron's topic today is about
cable television.
Cable television, just what we were talking about. So that's great. It's right in line with the rest of the show.
I had to read a lot about it. I didn't know a lot about it.
You didn't know a lot about cable television.
Since he was the man, because everybody knows, and those that you don't, that Ron Moore was the man that brought, it was telecable back in those days.
Telecable. Well, they actually started as Southeastern Cable even before then. You know.
Well, see, that was before my time then.
Well, cable television originally is younger than television, of course, because television came first. And then there become demands as more and more TV stations started launching across America. There was more demand for viewers, and people started buying TVs. But you go into the coal mines of West Virginia where there are huge mountains, and the TV signal doesn't go around the mountain or through the mountain. And so if you lived on that side of, if it was coming from the east and you lived on the west side of the mountain, you didn't get signals. And some of those areas, the signals just weren't getting down in. So they built something called CATV, Community Antenna Television. Basically, they put a big tower up on the hill and run a wire down to the thing. Now, it was a little bit more complicated than that. But basically, the theory was bring the antenna, one antenna for the community, and then they got wired together.
Okay.
So now, this is interesting if you think about how things have changed over since 1975 here in Cleveland, Tennessee. At one time, all of your telephones were wired, and all your televisions were wireless. Now, what's happened today?
That's true.
Absolute
It's
change
reversed.
there, because now we carry cell phones and most people have cable.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
Not everybody, but it's a good population that has that. So as things become more popular and the antenna come down, basically you didn't get any extra programs. You got what 1 or 2 television stations happened to be in the area.
Right.
And Chattanooga started building TV stations in the 50s. So and Bradley County is a prime example. One of those places it's hard to get television. The signals come out of Chattanooga towards us, and there are 5 ridges that run north and south from Bradley County. If you happen to be on the west side of the ridge, you didn't get very good television signals here in Bradley County. So this is a place where cable is very popular. Actually, the first cable company, the first franchise was in the early 60s, before it actually, people started talking about it. And then in the 70s, 6 men here in Bradley County got together, some Hoskins, some Mayfields, some Beatties, got together, and they created Southeastern Cable Company. And they launched the cable company here and ran it for about 2 years until about 1978. I think they got the first customers around 77, 78. And I think they had 80 miles of cable system and about 1,200 customers when a company out of Norfolk, Virginia, who I started with, called Telecable Corporation, bought the local system here. And they found that they'd made a very good investment.
Yeah,
I'm sure they did.
They were very pleased when they wrote them the check, and I think it definitely put Mr. Hoskins in a different tax bracket.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it did.
And anyway, but then Telecable started building immediately. We went to 200 miles of cable, to 300 to 400 to 600 miles of cable here in Bradley County, and probably close to 1,000 now here. I've been gone from the industry for about 12 years now, but it's pretty interesting that I used to say when I first got into the cable business, people were chasing us down the street, begging us to hook them up. Later on, they were chasing us for other reasons. Cable for first built was just it was basically a wire that got re-amplified down there. So when it was like a water line. When the water line broke, there's no more water went forward. So if the cable system broke close to the office, there was nobody getting cable TV. And so there was 3 or 4 main legs go out. When one of those main legs went down, everybody on the other side. Now, fiber allows you, it's like you're almost from the starting point, what they call the head end, that you're not far from it now with fiber, because every home and every group of things, so the outages have gone down tremendously.
Right.
Yeah, we don't hardly ever have
it's
that.
very, very, and the fiber has changed, and that technology just wasn't there when I was in the beginning, although we heard about that stuff long, and the stuff that you talk about today. I remember when they started HBO.
Yeah,
I do too.
HBO was only 14 hours a day.
That's right.
There was very few 24-hour channels, because no one knows what a test pattern is now.
Right, that's true.
They used to have a test pattern.
With that little Indian
in the middle. I never knew why there was an Indian.
I know, I didn't either.
I thought it was a Cherokee headdress when I was younger. But then there's a little channel called Showtime, came out, and it put on 24 hours a day. Now, it didn't have 24 hours a day a movie. Do you remember what was between the movies for about 30 minutes?
I'm going to say something. Aerobicize.
Aerobicize.
Which was probably the most
popular
show.
channel.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
There was
People
a gentleman
really called and were complaining when they took off Aerobicize.
Yes, I think I may have been one.
Mainly men.
Well, I think I may have been. There was a friend of ours that we had that didn't get it, and back in those days when you didn't get the channel, instead of it not being there, it was just scrambled. And he would watch the scrambled channel of it and say, I would just pray, Lord, please let my picture clear up, is what he told me. And it would be scrambled, but I can imagine that was a big one.
I remember that.
We had
that was awkward.
We started at 12 channels. Well, actually 11, because you started at channel 2, did not use channel 1.
Right.
2 was HBO, then the rest of the channels, 10 channels, were a basic cable. And a lot of times, we had WTCG, Turner Communication Group, which is now TBS.
TBS.
It was a UHF television station that decided to go up.
Was it Channel 17?
Channel 17,
That's
sure was.
Yep.
And actually they decided to put it up on the bird on the satellite and
Right.
started. And WGN was another one of
Right,
the
WGN,
stations. Those were called the
absolutely.
super stations.
Yes.
Really started what we've known as cable TV today. That they got on, and then there was some local channels, and and of course you have to remember that this wasn't a popular thing. Theaters hated the idea of cable television,
sure.
Oh, I
and
bet.
broadcasters did too. I remember going to a movie theater and seeing anti-cable display there, and had a place where it looked like you put a quarter in the top of your television to start watching television. Well, of course, we always told it we brought you a better signal, a better quality than what you get with your antenna. So you weren't paying for the programming as much as the quality you got.
Right.
Now you pay for
The
programming.
quantity, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
now you do.
So I remember the day that we actually took off Channel 5 out of Atlanta, and we put on this new thing called the Weather Channel, which
I know.
our company created that.
Oh,
That
really?
Telecable
Really?
was founder of that, and we put that on, and I never got so much hate mail.
I know.
And the note that was nailed to our front door, literally nailed to our front door, the next day was not polite.
I
And
can
that is
imagine.
so funny because
can
I
imagine.
I remember when it came out, and I thought, who in the world? What in the world? Why? I mean, really, a station about the weather all the time. But honestly, I can't live without it.
I bet you today people have watched it.
My mother lives by the Weather Channel. She knows all those different personnel. I know a lot of them.
Yep.
But honestly, when there is inclement weather or anything, I mean, you are glued to it. But I don't know what I would do without it. I mean, really, in any way. But in the very beginning, that was so odd. I mean, even MTV was like, what?
Yeah, John Coleman from ABC come up with the idea for it. Then our company, Nick Worf was our engineer who created the transponder that made it addressable. Every city had its own basic weather. It was regionalized from Chattanooga,
Right.
Cleveland here, and then it got to the point where we could actually put out Cleveland. It's pretty interesting. Weather Channel has one studio. There is no cameraman. There is no producers. Basically, the weatherman walks in there and pushes the button for all the programming, switches
wow.
the cameras. Your studio's twice as big. It's a closet. Now
no kidding.
the rest of the meteorologists and all that pretty big, but basically the on-air person is a simple thing. The idea was for people to watch for 7 minutes
Right.
a day. If we got people to watch 7 minutes, and our advertisers do that, and very successful. And if you was to try to take it off today, someone would be hammering and on the
absolutely.
door now.
Oh, my
Yeah,
mother wouldn't be
absolutely.
able. I mean,
Well-
that would just be it.
Well, of course, and now you can almost kind of understand a channel all about the weather, so you kind of know what's going on. But who would have ever thunk that a channel just devoted to just selling, the home shopping network, just selling things, how that would, because you got to sit there and watch, and you don't know what they're going to try to sell. You got to watch to know.
Your
Well,
mother
you-
got all into that.
That's what I'm saying. A
His
lot of
mother
people-
watched
It's
QVC all
unbelievable.
the time.
Now, the cable companies were enticed into that by everything you buy, 5% of that goes to the cable company.
Right.
So if you spend $1, the cable company gets another nickel for that. And those were pretty big checks.
Yeah.
Unbelievable checks. As a matter of fact, it become a line item in each year's budget saying
right.
how much are we going to make off of this year? And that's why you used to see the Weather Channel down in the basic cable, because we wanted everybody to watch that, because
Right.
it was an opportunity for us to make more money. But so you can imagine the things that, Showtime comes along. I remember when we went from 12 channels to 17. And I remember saying to myself, how in the world can people watch 17 channels of television, And of course, we were adding ESPN, a brand new channel.
Oh.
ESPN.
I think I fell on my knees.
Roger
when that
Williams
came
was
on.
had left. Forgot what cable company he left. He went over. He was the new president of it. These are guys that we had all known around the cable industry and gets these jobs. A friend of mine from here in Cleveland, Terry Clark, went on and worked for MTV for many years,
really?
and now he's a television producer doing one of the Amish programs.
Oh,
Okay.
see, that's
I mean, he actually
Right.
did, not the mafia one, but there's another
right,
one.
I know,
right.
leaving, breaking Amish.
Terry Clark,
something
yeah,
like
Breaking
that.
Amish.
Breaking
That's Terry
Amish,
Clark
right,
from
right.
Cleveland, Tennessee.
Wow,
is
no
the producer
kidding.
of that. So,
Hey, guys, see, he always knows stuff.
so no one had any idea that we'd carry hundreds and hundreds of channels. But I do remember sitting in meetings saying that we plan on having the telephone. We plan on having your internet and having your cable. We planned on dominating your homes. That was part of the discussions back in the early days. And you've seen a lot of that happen now.
Right.
Of course, you know, the other people are fighting back, you know, too.
Right.
The deals. Broadcast television, of course, really hated this ideal, and they were a very powerful lobby and a force to reckon with. The people who control the news controls a lot of this. So when cable wanted to start doing things, there was a lot of rules applied to us, which are still there today. You guys are very aware of that, being a small station, of some of the rules and the problems of trying to, you know, get on. And the big guys will like to run you off, and so there's still all those rules out there with cable television now. There is a rule called the must-carry rule. There are certain television stations inside this market. Used to be Chattanooga market was Market 78. So every TV station signed to Market 78 has to be on every cable system inside that market.
Right.
So, and that's why you can't play an Atlanta station in the Chattanooga market now, because they have exclusivity. The thing is, only the ABC channel out of Chattanooga can be played in Market 78. You cannot bring those in. And so, and I ran cable systems that were in Georgia also, which were actually in the Chattanooga market, and we could not give them Atlanta news, which that's where their politics came from. So it was always a fight.
I'm sure it would be now, but the satellites they don't have those regulations and stuff.
Well, like HBO, you get HBO East, West. Now there are HBO 2, 1, whatever. But you used to have HBO West, HBO East, and all of that. But it's
I can remember when we lived in Florida, because when I left here, we had not really started with cable yet. But when I moved to Florida, and then after we got married, remember cable came in and we couldn't get it, and we lived right across the street from his parents. There was like a. It wasn't really like a Keith Street, but it was a 2-lane, but it was a busy road that was there in Florida. And we were in an apartment complex over here in the subdivision over here. Now Joe's parents had cable, but we were right across that street over there in those apartments.
So we would go to their house to watch it.
Well, when I started, I couldn't get cable either.
You couldn't get it?
And you were the general manager.
Yeah, well, of course we moved the construction after I got,
That's what I would have done.
We did the construction where there were most houses first.
Sure, absolutely.
And now we'd had to have 25 houses for every mile that we ran. Now they're down to 10 or 12 because you get so much more. Well, you get so much more money for it.
Right. And you know what I remember too? That was kind of, if you think back in the beginning of it, because I remember when we moved here, I was like, they got to have cable there. I'm getting interested in cable TV, and I really wanted to have it. For about a year
when we moved here.
And then when we first got it here, of course when my dad had it there when they first got it, but the cable wasn't like now where you got the remote in the box and you can go. You had to get up and it was that little slide thing. You had to slide it over to that channel. And then you go sit back down. Then you want to change the channel, you slide it over to that channel. And so it was, it has evolved, but technology is just growing daily. You sleep for a day and you're out of place.
And when I first started, televisions weren't ready for cable.
Right, that's true.
We had to put a little adapter on your old antenna screws, on the back of your TV, you screwed your antenna leads on there. We had to have a transformer type thing that changed it down to the thing. And then they started making TVs that were cable ready.
Cable ready.
Well, all a cable ready television actually meant it was that they had a port that you could screw that port on there. It didn't make, and of course then you remember how we scrambled things. You had to have one of our boxes to scramble it, which I think they've gone back to here in the last 2 or 3 weeks now. People said, well, my TV's cable ready. Well, all that meant was you could screw that. The biggest arguments that ever came about in cable television, you would never guess. Religious channels.
Really?
I was told off more time about religious channels.
About not having them?
Well, yes.
In this area, I can understand
you have to remember that every denomination had its own network. Eternal Word Network is a Catholic program.
Right.
Vision was a Methodist.
Right.
And
I didn't know that.
Star Inspiration.
Oh, yeah, they're all, and Angel Stars, a new one now. And they're always wanted on. Constantly battled to get on. And so, basically we picked a non-denominational that sort of was a broad scope, but we always got attacked. I attended the Methodist Church. they had the bishop call me.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you know, it's not quite as big as the Pope. You know, quite.
I was
as
going to
big
say, then if you were in Catholic, the Pope would have been called.
but really, you'd be surprised that how angry people would get over the religion. The other thing was soap operas and wrestling. That was the three biggest things. If the soap operas went off in the middle of the day, when we were out working, sometimes we had to take the cable system down to fix something.
And you messed up the stories.
Oh.
See, and that's why they came up with Soap Network, so they could
and
see
they
it
wanted
at a
to say,
later
will you replay that? I says, we can't replay what's on the networks. All we do is just provide what they do if they replay it. And there was people wanting to say, is it on there? Could we tell them what's happening?
I know, we've had a lot of that
and
here.
then when
with Black
WWF
Beauty
and WWE, when it didn't come on,
you could just forget
oh my God. And now NASCAR was pretty bad, but WWE was really bad.
I'm sure, because back then when it was the Hulk and with the Ultimate Warrior and all of that during those, because our kids were into it, I can imagine if that had been.
Well, the worst thing is you can probably imagine what would be my biggest nightmare. It did happen one
Miami
Sunday.
Dolphins.
Yes. And I was devastated. Right in the middle of the game, it goes blue screen.
Was that 1983?
It may have been. It may have been because I was freaking out.
That's on one Super Bowl Sunday, the cable system went off.
Yes.
It was minus 15. Wind chill factor was minus 45, and the metal in the lines literally contracted and got smaller. And at the points where they're connected, it just pulled apart. And can you imagine going out and grabbing a piece of metal with your hand? And it was hard to fix. And the bad thing about that was it went off during the whole Super Bowl, come on at the end of the Super Bowl. Luckily, it was a bad Super Bowl.
Right.
But the next night was the Chamber of Commerce banquet that I had to attend.
Oh, dear.
And they probably...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I bet they beat you up.
And people for years would actually call and say, is the Super Bowl going to be on this year? Every year there would be somebody called on there. So,
well, one thing we've got to say about Charter today, okay? If there is an outage, you can start counting, and they'll have it back on.
They'll have it back on.
I mean, they're right on top of it, unless it's something unbelievable.
Yeah, the technology is amazing now, and even the technology. They have what's called status monitoring now. They can see when stuff's about to go bad, and then when there is a fiber node goes down, it may only affect 8 houses instead of affecting 800 or 8,000.
Right.
So the outages are much smaller now. Still, you can't control drunk drivers.
That's true.
When they tear down a telephone pole.
Right, sure.
And although fiber is so much stronger, for example, we used to run the Nashville cable system, and when the big tornado would come through and hit all the upper building, our fiber fell down across I-40, and people drove on it for 6 hours, and we never lost the signal.
Really?
Because it's inside
protected.
Inside of it, it's great. You take that little piece of glass out of that little fine rubber, and it's about the size of a hair. You take it out of there, it goes just into a million little pieces, and then you got to put that back together.
Good luck with that.
Yes.
So it's very well encased. I mean, even though it's so
it actually has some bulletproof encased in there, so it is good. So there's a lot of things happening in cable. You know, there are channels on now that people never watch, but until you try to take it off, and that's my favorite channel.
I know.
There's
What's
always
your favorite
somebody.
channel when
and of course, you know, no one ever thought we would have Duck Dynasty and this. That.
Honey Boo Boo.
Honey Boo Boo.
Oh,
give me a
I cannot even watch
How
it.
is that even on?
One of these days they're going to find a Bigfoot on Finding Bigfoot.
Yes, they are. I mean, after
I
all
watched
those
that
years.
last night. In fact, did you see it last night?
Yes, I did.
And the guy was like, you got to remember though, they'll yell back, and then you got to yell to them, and sometime. And I'm thinking, look, if you haven't seen one by now,
well, I said there is no Bigfoot until you find Bigfoot poop.
Right.
That's true.
The footprint, but you've got to put that together. Talking about this local station here too, you know, this was something that several of us in town went and fought for to get on, to have a local television station. And without being on cable television, really a local station is just, they can't compete at all. It's because most people do have cable now, and the people with the antenna, you know, the signals are usually smaller. By law, you can't have as powerful a transmitter as WRCB or WTVC.
Sure.
So without cable, it'd be tough to get on here. So people like Mayor Rowland and some other people, and of course myself, we went into Telecable Corporation at that time to see if we could get them on. And after a lot of, and the reason I thought it was good is because this station is not going to be on the satellites. Right. People who buy a satellite dish could not get this local network. And I thought it was important. It took about 6 months for us to talk with all the powers to be and all the agreements and all the things that come along. And very unique agreements that we wrote right in the beginning of that. But it's been here now. Oh, I know. I've been gone from cable 12 years, and it was here. So this has to be going on 20 years. This has been part of the Cleveland community.
Right. Now, I don't really, because Joe went to work for him back in 99, was it? Or 2000?
98.
98, 99, something like that. And they were piggybacked on the back of a Dalton station.
Yes.
They were simulcasting with, with who owned it. And then only until in 2009, when now Cleveland does own the station completely, the FCC, recognizes it as our station and no longer that, and it is in, all of this area. And then we're 27 over the air, but Channel 5. And I think when you first went to work, wasn't it Channel 1?
It was Channel 99.
99.
And then it went to Channel 1, but it was 99 and 1. And then Mike, who took over after you.
Mike Burns.
Mike Burns. Mike Burns, a great man, nice man. And Mike called us up one day, and he said, okay, I'm going to see if you got a problem with this. Do you mind if we move you from Channel 1 to Channel 5? It's like, no.
That'd be good.
So it was a great move
NBC
for us.
And ABC.
It was a great move.
What happened there was they were taking away, the Weather Channel used to be Channel 5.
Right.
And from a marketing standpoint, they moved Weather Channel on to the second tier.
Right.
So that forced you
You'd
to
have
buy
to get
more.
that
That's where they
big,
moved
bare cable
TBS,
box, right.
TBSs and things of that nature. And that was just pure marketing, and that didn't come from Mike Burns. Or a lot of times I got blamed for a lot of things, and I took the blame, but a lot of times it's corporate says do this and do that.
Right.
And one of the things I had always fought was always keep TBS on basic, and after I left they finally moved it, but I'd always fought to do that. But there are all these channels out there, but so you can imagine going to 19 channels. MTV was an unbelievable mess, or people loved it and hated it.
Hated it.
Showtime had some pictures and the robicides that were pretty
risque,
sexual content, and some of the Cinemax movies were pretty racy.
Right.
People never wanted to block those. They wanted to block MTV. Parents called and wanted us to block MTV, but they would not block Cinemax.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's all. It's you can now block it from your TV,
yes,
so you can block the channel.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, we're about out of time, and I do want to say that when you were there and that you brought us on, we want to thank you for that. It's been a wonderful marriage now with the station and the community, and it's thanks to you and Mayor Rowland and folks like that. Not only did you get us on the air, but you also have us as a must carry, and the must carry is on the lower tiers. And we're in there. That's why we're in 5. And it's been a great, like I said, a great marriage. And
that's along with 45, Channel 18.
Absolutely.
Channel 11, 3, 9,
3, 9,
and 12.
3, 9, and 12.
All those are.
Yeah, and it's a great. That's why we want to serve the community, and which is the whole point of the station from the beginning, with entertainment, information, educational shows, all that kind of stuff. And so we hope as we move on further now, WTMB, as we said, is going to grow bigger and better. And ever. So when you see Ron Moore, you thank him because he's the one
Just give him a pat on the back.
That got us on there.
At the right place at the right time.
Or the wrong place at the wrong time.
Who knows?
Yeah. But anyway,
but
we're going by.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being with
us.
Friday. Football Friday. That's right.
One of the big hits of your.
It's huge, and this year is going to be even better and bigger. Right. So join us for that. Hey, thanks for joining us today on this Wednesday. Have yourself a good rest of the week. We'll see you next Wednesday. For Kim, I'm Joe, Ron, Jay, and Josh that were here earlier. Have yourself a good day. We'll see you later.